Open your eyes.
You killed the man you loved because you couldn't control your power.
No, stop it! Release your burden!
Okay, real talk for a second. December 18th, 2026. Doomsday is about to throw 20-plus heroes from 3 different universes into one room with Robert Downey Jr. playing the most terrifying version of himself we've ever seen. So today, we're counting down the 10 characters I think are most likely to die in Doomsday. Number 1 is going to start an argument in the comments. Let's get into it.
Today was meant to be a display of your power. Let this be a warning to the world.
Starting off at number 10, we've got Scott Lang. And look, I love this man, but let's be honest, Ant-Man has always been the lovable underdog of the Avengers. After the disaster that was Quantumania, Scott's story feels like it's been building toward one final redemption arc. Think about it, Scott's entire journey has been about proving he's not just some guy who stole a suit, that he's an actual hero worthy of standing next to Captain America and Thor. That kind of prove myself arc usually pays off in one of 2 ways: a big triumphant moment or a tearjerker sacrifice that cements his legacy forever. He's got a family waiting for him at home, which sorry to say is basically a death flag in itself. Marvel loves nothing more than making you cry over a dad who almost made it back. And with Cassie Lang confirmed to return, imagine the gut punch of Scott going out while making sure his daughter gets to keep being a hero. That's exactly the kind of full circle moment these movies are built on.
You took my daughter! We had a deal!
Number 9, and this one's a bit of a wild card, Wanda Maximoff. Now, we all watched her get buried under a mountain of rubble in Multiverse of Madness, and Marvel has been suspiciously quiet about whether she's actually gone for good. That silence is exactly what makes this so interesting, because Marvel rarely lets a character with this much unfinished emotional business just disappear without one more moment in the spotlight. If she does show up in Doomsday, even in flashback, spirit form, or some multiversal loophole, she's probably not sticking around for the sequel. Wanda's entire arc has been about grief turning into destruction, and then destruction turning into an attempt at redemption that never quite got to finish. If Doomsday wants to hit us right in the feelings early on, bringing her back just to say goodbye properly, maybe even helping fix the very multiverse she once tore apart, would be exactly the kind of emotional gut punch the Russo brothers love to pull. It would also close the loop on one of the MCU's most tragic characters in a way that finally gives her peace.
Come on, Wanda! Escape your fate!
Number 8, Doctor Strange. Stephen Strange has spent multiple movies being the guy who sees every possible outcome, calculates every timeline, and sacrifices himself, his relationships, and his reputation to get the good ending even when nobody else understands why. With a multiverse collision storyline this massive, Strange is going to be at the absolute center of figuring out how to fix whatever chaos brought these universes together in the first place. And characters who understand the full cost of victory in these films have a nasty habit of being the ones who end up paying that cost personally. If anyone in this movie is going to look at the odds, realize there's only one way through, and quietly choose to pay the price himself without telling anyone.
I love you. I love you in every universe.
Coming in at number 7, and I know this one's going to hurt some of you, Thor. Chris Hemsworth has openly talked about winding down his time as the God of Thunder, and Thor's story has quietly been building toward fatherhood and finally finding peace after literal decades of loss, war, and grief. In superhero storytelling, a hero finally finding peace is almost always immediately followed by that peace being ripped away, because nothing hits harder than watching someone earn happiness right before it's taken from them. Thor has already lost his mother, his father, his best friends, and an entire planet. He is, without question, one of the most grief-stricken characters in this entire universe. If Doomsday is going for maximum emotional devastation, having him fall while protecting his child would do exactly that, and it would give one of the MCU's longest-running heroes an ending worthy of everything he survived.
I told you, you'd die for that.
And at number 6, this is the one I think about constantly, the emotional weight of Robert Downey Jr. himself. Not as Tony Stark, since Tony already gave his life back in Endgame, but the symbolism of RDJ now playing Doctor Doom means his character's arc could very well end in his own destruction, undone by the very ambition that made him dangerous in the first place. A villain origin built entirely on believing he's the hero, only to be proven catastrophically wrong in the end, mirrors Tony's own journey in reverse, a genius who thought he had all the answers, brought down by his own certainty. That's the kind of ending that would make Doomsday absolutely unforgettable, and it would close the loop on Robert Downey Jr.'s entire Marvel story in the most poetic way possible, the actor who built this universe, ending it by playing the man who tries to destroy it.
What the hell?
Number 5 brings us to Ben Grimm. Out of the entire Fantastic Four, Ben is the most physically durable, which almost makes him a magnet for a big damn heroic sacrifice moment. Think about it. In a movie packed with cosmic-level threats, somebody has to hold the line, take the hit, buy everyone else time to escape, and that job almost always falls to the character who can physically take the most punishment. That's very much a big guy in the front kind of death. And Ben has always been the emotional heart of the Fantastic Four, the guy who never asked to be turned into a monster made of rock, but chose to keep being a hero anyway. Killing him wouldn't just be shocking, it would gut an entire fan base that just fell in love with this team in first steps. And honestly, that's exactly why Marvel might do it. Nothing raises the emotional stakes of a brand new team faster than losing one of them.
It's clobbering time.
At number 4, Bucky Barnes. This man has survived being frozen, brainwashed, and about a dozen near-death experiences already, so at some point the universe is going to collect. Bucky's entire character is built on redemption for the things he did as the Winter Soldier, decades of guilt that he's never fully been allowed to let go of. And with Sam Wilson now carrying the Captain America shield, Bucky's story has quietly been wrapping up in the background of the last few projects he's appeared in. A hero sacrificing himself to protect the new Captain America? That's not just possible, that's practically poetic. The old soldier stepping aside, literally and figuratively, to make sure the next generation gets to carry the shield forward. Marvel doesn't hand you that kind of narrative setup for nothing, and after everything Bucky's endured, a death that finally lets him rest instead of suffer might actually be the kindest ending they could give him.
Bucky? Who the hell is Bucky?
At number 3, Sam Wilson's Captain America. Sam only just picked up the shield, and yes, that usually means a character is safe for a while since Marvel just spent years building him into the role, but Doomsday is not a normal movie, and normal rules don't really apply here. Facing off directly against Dr. Doom, the literal embodiment of everything Captain America stands against, sets up the kind of high-stakes symbolic confrontation where a shocking death would redefine the entire franchise going forward. Nothing raises the stakes of a threat faster than taking down the person wearing the shield, and if Marvel wants the audience to truly believe Dr. Doom is a threat unlike anything they've faced before, proving it by taking out the newest Captain America would send that message louder than almost anything else they could do.
Who's your buyer? Pal, your buddy, Bucky.
Number 2, we have Magneto. Ian McKellen coming back to this role after all these years is a massive deal, and Magneto has always existed in that gray zone between hero and villain, never quite trusted, never quite forgiven, but never willing to stop fighting for what he believes is right. In a movie about universes literally colliding, having Magneto make one final morally complicated choice, sacrificing himself for a world that never fully trusted him, maybe even for the very Avengers who'd have every reason to see him as a threat, would be the perfect closing chapter for a character who spent decades being misunderstood. It's the kind of ending that reframes his entire legacy in one single act, and Marvel loves nothing more than a redemption that arrives right at the very end.
You built these weapons to destroy us. Why? Because you are afraid of our gifts.
At number 1, we've got the return of Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Now here's the thing about legacy characters coming back into a franchise after years away, just to stand in the background and wave at the camera. He's incredibly powerful, and he represents an entire era of superhero cinema making its comeback for one final stand alongside a whole new universe of heroes. If Doomsday wants to give longtime X-Men fans real closure, having Xavier go out in a blaze of glory, using the full extent of his psychic powers to save the new generation of heroes he's meeting for the first time, would be an incredibly fitting send-off. It would also be a beautiful passing of the torch the man who spent his life dreaming of a world where mutants and humans coexist, finally protecting a universe that's bigger than anything he ever imagined.
Wanda Maximoff, your mind is being held hostage by your alternate self.
So that's my top 10, and look, this is all speculation because Marvel is guarding this plot like it's the Infinity Stones themselves. So now I want to know, who do you think is not making it out of Doomsday alive? Drop your picks in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe if you don't want to miss my full breakdown. See you in the next one.